What is up, guys? After a long hiatus, we got Dirty Mike and Cobb's Creek Beef back with another 4th and 26 Philly Sports podcast. It's good to see you again, Beef. We took the summer off, to kind of regroup and reformat for where we wanted to go with the podcast moving forward. But we got a lot of exciting things with the Phillies in a playoff run and Eagles training camp in full swing in their first preseason game this weekend. So how you been, Beef? How's your summer been?
It's been fantastic, bud. It's been great. It's a historic comeback for 4th and 26. I'm proud to be back here with you for a full Eagles season. Doc, this is going to be a good one.
Yeah, we're also going to be doing, now that we can live stream, we'll be doing post-game analysis right after the game. So, definitely check that out. That should pop up on YouTube. So let's start off talking about the Phils. We're going to get the Eagles in a little bit, but the Phils have really pulled away the last, week or so, and we got a no-hitter last night from our new guy. How did you feel about that one, Foods?
It was only his second start, and it's been – I think a dozen years. What was Cliff Lee, the last midseason acquisition that was able to go 8 innings or deeper on his first pitching start?
Yeah,
it's been that long since we've had that, Foods. And then his second start, he comes home, comes back here, and he gets the crowd. I think his wife was there, his daughter was there. It was beautiful.
Yeah, it was great. He looked great in total control. He looked great in his first start. And you like weird facts and obscure facts as much as me. I saw last night that they said that it was only the 5th time ever and only the 2nd time since 1900 that a pitcher acquired midseason through a no-hitter in their first home start. So that it's only the 14th no-hitter in Phillies history, but it looks like he's really going to give some juice to the starting rotation, which has already been solid. Even though Nola hasn't been in his ace form, he's more looking like a number 3 pitcher this season. But I think that acquisition of Lorenzen kind of went under the radar, and we're really seeing what this guy can do with a change in scenery.
Yeah, absolutely. I also know that I think it was the Nationals. They weren't even the Nationals then; they were the Expos. They hadn't been no hit since like '99. It was a great night at the ballpark last night. They're actually winning now too, so hopefully, if they can win this one tonight, take another game in that wild card race, it'll look great. But last night, I mean, you had Wilson, his first that night at the park, bang, home run. Castellanos hits 200th. Everybody had a piece of last night's action, and I love it.
Yeah, I love it too. And the Phillies have hit some long balls tonight. They're currently up 6-2, although Washington has the base. Okay, they had the bases loaded top at the ninth, so that's done. The Phillies just got the 3rd out, so we're 6-2 going into the 9th inning right now. So hopefully we get another big win, and we are currently 3.5 games up on the wild card.
That's great, especially with playing the Giants. We got a series against them. Other teams, I think Reds, Marlins, still right there in the hunt. Foods. The rest of this month, they have to devote, to really eating all this home cooking that we like to say. This month especially. I know it's a tried cliche, but it's so true. You got to make your hay. August is the month to do it, man. It's my birthday month.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Coming up on the 25th. I'll tell you what, though, I want to talk about the importance of getting that number 1 wild card spot. Because if you get, as you guys know or may not know, if you finish number 2 or number 3 in the wild card, you have to play each other for the right to get into the playoffs. And I don't want our whole season to hinge on one start. I want to have it. I want to get that number 1 spot so we're guaranteed a series. Right now, we hold a 1-game lead on the Giants for that number 1 spot. So if they were to lose tonight, we win. We go up 2 on them, and we got a big series coming up with them towards the end of the month, to where that could have a big factor on whether or not we're going to get that number 1 spot, and if we can stay hot.
Yeah, because obviously they're never going to catch the Braves with 10.5 games. I mean, that would take a 1967 Phillies meltdown. Or whatever that year was.
No,
You know,
and
from
it's
the
fine. I don't want that pressure of winning the division and having all that pressure on us that now we have to perform. We want to be that dog that everybody
yeah,
writes us off, and then we're going to do what we did last year because we have four solid starting pitchers now. Last year we really saw in the World Series how having those bullpen games and not having a reliable fourth starter really affected the World Series. So
it's you're absolutely right. It didn't help the Braves anyway. They were out in the second, in the divisional series.
yeah.
It was pointless regardless. But you're absolutely right. With Alvarado out, they need him back. You know what I mean? It's nice to see Sir Anthony. He's dealing. Kimbrel had the little faux pas. Really not his fault. I want a quick aside, Foods.
Yeah.
Robo umps. How do you feel about robo umps? I'm getting closer and closer every day.
Yeah, I've been seeing some of this stuff because, as you guys may or may not know, up until just the last couple of years, I lived down in the Clearwater area, so where the Phillies do their spring training. So the rest of the year, when they're not doing spring training, the Clearwater Threshers, their single A team, plays down there, and they would have all kinds of promotions at fun dollar beer nights, pretzels, just everything at the park. And they've been experimenting, with the pitch clock for the last, 4 or 5 years. So that was something that really helped the games move along. Because let me tell you something, Foods, when you're out there in Florida, in Clearwater, in the summertime, watching a baseball game melting in center field on the berm, you are like, as much as we enjoy watching the games, there are points where we can't wait for the game to get over because it's so goddamn hot. I mean,
I can,
yeah,
even in Philly, dude, it was hot.
it's terrible until the sun sets behind the stadium. Hopefully by the seventh inning, it is hell. And, it really helped the game to move forward. There were times where I went to the games down there and it would be like an hour and a half in the game. I look up and it's like going into the eighth inning. I'm like, oh, shit. This game's really moving. You have a couple beers, you don't realize 4 innings have kind of passed by. But, they've been experimenting with the pitch clock for several years now, and that really helped the game to move fast. And so when they adopted it, I knew there would be some pushback from the pitchers, but, they have no choice. It's definitely the way to keep interest because baseball had been really dying. And, this is something that definitely breathed a little life into it. And I know now they're experimenting with robo umps currently. And I just hate when a game comes down to a call by the referee. Or by the umpires. So, you know what? I'm all for it. They show the stat cast and all that stuff anyway, whether it was a ball or a strike. It's become, kind of part of the game unofficially. So I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. Now, if it's just balls and strikes, that's fine. I don't think it's going to be like, I don't think they could do like, calling people out at first base, second base, home, or anything like that. To my knowledge, it's not like that, right?
No, not yet. But it's the challenges still apply. I just think it's funny because this isn't. You're right. It's not 1970 anymore. The technology is far more sophisticated. They can catch way more things down to milliseconds. You've seen it all the time with the slow mo, and the lights are brighter. I think it definitely should start trending in that direction. But I feel that you're right, Foods. I mean, it's a shame that it has to come to that, but if games rely on pitches, thrown balls and strikes, and a human eye is fallible, it just is.
And you know what, though, Foods? It's always been a part of the game, which is fine. The
Yes,
human aspect has been a part of baseball,
true.
and, it makes it not robotic. But I feel like in recent years, the umpires have just been, in the spotlight more than, years that I can remember for, just egregious calls. And, here's something I'll throw at you of why I think it'll be good. It's
Mm.
going to increase offense because, batters know that if it's anything close to the strike zone, like, for example, you could have some umpires that have a really tight strike zone. So that if it's anything kind of towards like the outside plate or up towards your chest, the ump's going to call it a ball. So you can sit on a lot more pitches, but when you know that if that ball even catches a little bit of that box right there, you got to swing. So it's going to be a lot more exciting for the fans to, have more swings, more hits, and, just those borderline, pitches people are going to start swinging at instead of taking.
Yeah, I honestly, I don't mind a little experimentation because what happened, I think that was Monday night where Kimbrel got that big call. That would have been
Yeah.
strike three. They would have been done. And no, boom. ties it up, and then they go ahead, and then they take the game. So
But
I'm just saying,
yeah.
definitely messed up.
But it goes both ways. It honestly does. It can go in your favor too. Last night, the second out that Lorenzen got in the ninth inning, the strikeout was a good 6-8 inches outside the strike zone.
That
We all
I
saw it.
absolutely, you're so right, because I was like, ooh, that was probably 4 or 5 inches. But I
At
tell you what,
least
he was caught up in
it was
the
out.
moment. It was
But
very, it
yeah,
was.
the umpire knows what's going
He
on, and
does,
he's
he
just like, you
does.
know what? There's already 2 strikes. Yeah, you're
And it
out.
was a 7-0 game. It wasn't like
Yeah,
there
it's
was
like, come
anything
on.
on the
No,
line. Yeah.
no, it's like, come on, we want to go home, guys. Let's let this dude get his no hitter. Let's get the fuck out of here.
And then Castellanos got his 200th home run. Like it was a beautiful night at the park. Foods. The Phillies look great, and I honestly, to bring it back to the beginning of the conversation, you're absolutely right. This is the month that they need to really buckle down with offense, keeping it consistent. I want to see the young guys keep going, like Cave, Soto, Rojas, all those guys playing great defense. And I want to
Yeah,
give a little love to Topper. He has
yeah,
been shuffling the lineup a little bit. I think these tweaks are helping,
it
moving
is.
Turner up and down, finally giving him lead off. A little confidence booster. Give Schwarber a little
Yeah.
alleviate some pressure.
You know what? I like what we did. For years we've always gotten the rap of being some of the worst fans in all of sports. We're tough on opposing teams. We're just as tough on our players. And some players don't like playing in those conditions. Others thrive on it, like Bryce Harper. But what we did for Trey Turner, as opposed to what we normally would do, you remember all the years with Pat Burrell just booing him the fuck out of the stadium when he's going through a little slump. Trey Turner's been having a horrific year, and instead of getting on him, online and social media, the idea to get behind him and start giving him standing ovations started catching traction. And sure enough, just that little bit of like, hey man, we got your back. You're going to be here for the next 11 years. It seems like it really lifted him up and took like a weight off of his chest.
It's true. At first, it seemed a little bit condescending, I think, because they kept doing it at each at bat. But I'll tell you what, a little bit helped. He hit a good little blooper. The first baseman just made a great play. The guy hopped up 10 feet, just caught it.
Yeah.
But then after that, then the next game, and I think it snowballs. Like I said, Topper deserves a little credit. And I don't know if you caught the post game of last night, after all the magic that happened at the ballpark. They had a couple glasses of champagne.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, they held it up. Topper, he said, "This is for all you guys. You guys had a great night tonight." And the young guys, the veterans, everybody. Real Muto for being able to bring a new guy, Lorenzen, in and call a great game. He gets a little piece of credit. Everybody did great.
Yeah, especially so. Even if he's 75% as good as he's been in the first two games, I mean that's going to be huge. We already have a great 1-2 punch when Nola gets it together, for any playoff series. But now you're throwing Walker in there and Lorenzen. I mean that's his up there top 4 pitching staff with anybody in the league. If he's even 75% as good as he's been.
Yeah, they'll be formidable, Foods. And like I said, we've been saying, you just got to get into those playoffs. We did it last year. Do it again this year. If we have to, we have to.
Sometimes getting somebody who's struggling is just the best thing for them. People like to do the analogy like it's being in a bad relationship and then you get set free and you're in a better situation and all of a sudden you start to shine. And I feel like that's kind of what maybe was happening with Lorenzen. He was a much better pitcher and was just kind of struggling a little bit, in a stagnant situation, and it just breathed some life into him going into a good situation with a good clubhouse and good leadership and veteran leadership on the team, to where you don't fly off of the rails and kind of be part of a toxic culture. And that's something that Philly sports, okay, no, I'm gonna lie, not Philly sports, the Eagles and the Phillies excel at. The Sixers are a fucking train wreck, and we'll talk about them at some point, but not tonight. But the Phillies are a good clubhouse to come into, and I think he's going to shine with us and have a career resurgence. Now, let me ask you: do we have him just for the rest of the year, or do we take on a contract with him?
I believe he has a contract. I think he does. I think he does have a contract.
You know
Not
what?
100% sure.
Let me look at this.
Yeah, you double check that because I feel. I tell you what, if he doesn't, they should. Like I don't. Yeah,
Okay, so he currently has a 1 year, $8.5 million contract with Detroit, including all of it guaranteed.
right.
And Lorenzen's adjusted salary with the Phillies is 2.7 million, but
Okay.
it's just for this season. So he'll
Just
be that's a hell of a rental if you can get a half a season out of him and lead you
for
to a
two and
World
a half
Series.
out of it, or 2 mil, whatever his whatever
Yeah,
his yearly was
yeah,
with
yeah. It
Detroit
was
or
eight.
whatever it was.
Yeah, we're only paying 2.5 million of the 8 million, so which is
That's
good.
dude. And then we could possibly get a ring out of this. Sign that man immediately.
Yeah, you know what?
Next year.
If we get a ring out of him, I'd be okay seeing him go because you know how that works. You know how that works. He has a great second half of the season and leads us into a
Uh,
playoff run, and all of a sudden he wants ace money, and that ain't gonna work. You know that,
Trudy,
especially
you
with Nolan.
truly are a Philly fan.
I
You
know we got to
it's
look.
such a good. I
But
love it. I love it.
but but if we can get a ring out of it, then I'm okay with it 100%. He can walk. But you know what?
It's
While he's here, he could be our mercenary for hire, and I am
no.
okay with that. Not everybody's a star franchise player. Not everybody's a franchise guy for life. You got to have some mercenaries on your team. You know that.
Sure. Sure, yeah, no problem. If you need a number 3, a number 4, you know what I'm saying, and you think that this might be it, ride them until ride them as far as you can. Especially since, I mean, it's going to be a long rest of the season. I mean, you still have this month, you still have September, you still have October, so it's not like anything's done. It's just a great start. That's all we're
Yeah.
saying.
You ride it like a skeleton horse through the gates of hell.
Show no mercy, Foods. I'm telling you, especially since this is, the Marlins aren't going to show you mercy. They're tough, you know.
Mm.
Not. I don't want to take our foot off anyone's throat right now.
No, absolutely. You got to bank the wins too where you can get them because, I'm sure the schedule is going to toughen up a little bit towards the end of the year. Let me take a look what we got coming up. After the Nationals here, we have a series against the Twins at home. Then we go to Toronto for a quick 2, go to the Nationals for 3 more. Then we got the Giants at home for 3 games, the Cardinals at home for 3 games. The Angels at home for 3 games. So that's another big homestand coming up. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 game homestand. Yeah, that's good.
Hmm?
That's a lot
Yeah,
at the end of August. So, but there's some tough teams. I think the Angels are kind of fading down the stretch there. The Twins are in it. The Giants are in it, but they're winnable games. They absolutely are.
yeah. I mean, you want to take care of business against the Nationals like we did, now this week. That was nice. Playing the AL teams, it's always fun to get a glimpse into who you might have to see come the series. That's all I look forward to when I see them at the end of the year, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? You might have to see the Orioles. Maybe
Yeah,
we'll see the Orioles in the series. We took them for a series earlier.
yeah,
We
that's a good
took one
time.
from Tampa Bay earlier. So
All
you
right.
never know if we see them again.
Yeah, the Phillies have gone final. They are now 12 games, a season high, 12 games above 500, have a 4-game lead over Miami for the 3rd wild card spot, and currently 2.5 on San Francisco, who is off today. So 3.5. So yeah, a game and a half lead coming into San Fran.
Nice and cushy Foods. It's good, but I want more. I want that to be like a 4-game lead, a 3-game lead. That's what I really want to see. I want that like tripled.
Hey, you know what? Keep winning, keep stacking up series like that, and that's going to be great, man.
Yeah,
Let's
you're
definitely look
absolutely
forward.
right. Speaking of weekends, we got a football game this weekend, Doc.
Segue to the Eagles. I like it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
preseason, but whatever, man. I'll take them. We're back, Eagles fans.
We are back, and usually it's a lot longer of a wait. I hate when the season's over at like the end of November for all intent purposes, because you have December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, like 9 months before like any activity starts again. And I don't know about you, but that to me that's some of the most depressing long months because we're 4 for 4 here at 4th and 26, but as the name 4th and 26, dictates, we die by the Eagles and bleed Eagles green more than any team. I like to think.
I have to say that they're the pinnacle, yes. And you're right. I mean, the NFL did a good job of making it a year-long thing. And I think that that's, excellent, where they can create and generate that business and that revenue and that interest, which is no problem. Got drafts, free agency, blah, blah, blah. But now we're in the meat foods. We're in the good stuff.
We are
and
in the meat.
It's good.
But you got to earn it.
You're absolutely right. You got to earn that meat, foods. And this is where it all starts. And I mean, there's been some injuries. I don't know if you heard about the little skirmish yesterday with Derek Barnett and Landon Dickerson.
That's good. So, good. You want that. You want that fierceness, that healthy competition. He got played hard. These guys aren't taking downs off. They're putting in the work. Now I want to talk about this with you later about we'll get into later about the time of practices during training camp with the Eagles. We all know that they're one of the shorter practice times of any team. We'll get into that and whether you think that makes a difference or not. But yeah, man, they're playing hard in the time that they're out there, and we got a preseason game coming up. I don't think we'll see many starters on offense, but well, we'll see, man. I like to see them playing hard already, and getting into getting in the mode.
Yeah, it's been great, listening to, like any 4th and 26 fan knows, I'm a huge fan of the radio. I love listening to 94.1. I listen, 97.5. It doesn't matter. I pick up everything. It's a shame. I tried to make it to the open practice. I couldn't get there. But you know what? It was packed. I mean, you'd have to be VIP just to even get in that place. So sometimes it's worth it, sometimes not. This year I was fine. But no problem because, you get great stuff on the radio every day. They have training camp. They're broadcasting from NovaCare, from the link. So you get up-to-date information. You get injuries. Like, for example, last week, poor Patrick Johnson got carted off. He had an ankle injury, and we weren't sure
if he had as bad as expected. Yeah, it's not as bad as expected.
Luckily, thank God. But just that information alone, you get it immediately. It's anything, any trades. You get even information from other teams. Callaway from Dallas, I think, has been cut for some legal issues that he had. So it's great to even get. You go behind enemy lines, and that's what I like about that. That's what you'll get here too. We love to infiltrate. Give you the good stuff.
I know, that we're not talking about the Flyers much right now, but that's something that drives me crazy is like lack of access. Anytime somebody gets injured, you hear like lower body injury, upper body injury. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah, I appreciate transparency.
Absolutely.
Almost even if you have to lie to me a little.
I agree. So we are in it right now. We got the first preseason game this weekend. We'll see. Obviously, I don't think we're going to see Jalen Hurts out there. Maybe we'll see him in the second or third game for a series or two. But what we're looking at right now is the Eagles roster as of right now. Now, obviously, this will not be a final roster because we need to go down to 53 men by before the first game. So we're going to go over this roster together and, kind of see where we think things are, in the bag and also, where we're going to have some competition and maybe a couple surprises. So we'll start off with the quarterback. Obviously, 1 and 2 are sewed up, but now you get to have a third quarterback on the roster because of what we did to the 49ers and just beat them in the submission.
Yeah, no, you're right. They were talking about how Mariota's actually improved a lot. And a lot of speculation in Philly is why not bring Wentz back to a backup role? I mean, it's just funny,
Yeah,
sports radio talk,
yeah,
but I don't think that could ever happen.
you know what? That ship sailed. Thank you for helping us. He did contribute to us winning the Super Bowl.
Certainly.
He had a hell of a season, and he had a career, and he had an MVP season up until the moment he got hurt. His career completely got destroyed in some part because of that injury, whether it is physical or whether it was mental afterwards. I tend to think it was a little bit of both, but it was definitely, he went from MVP of the league to out of the league within a couple years. I've never seen a star player fall out of favor quicker than Carson Wentz did. And it's a shame because he is a good guy.
Yeah, he got his ring, which is, great for him. He's a family man, no problem. I get all that. He displayed immaturity. He didn't want to learn. He didn't want to
Mm-hmm.
grow. And
Yep.
in the end, I mean, I think that's what everyone loves about Jalen. I think that
Yeah.
he's humble. He realizes that he'll never stop trying to, even if he does win a ring, he'll never, he'll won two, he'll won
Well,
three.
he's a coach's son, and his father coached him very hard.
Yeah, correct.
He is probably the most coachable machine of a man of a quarterback I have ever seen.
And
He
he
holds
listens
himself
to his
accountable, and he
teammate.
wants to get better. Yeah, and he makes everyone else better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but now I think that the backup was the one they drafted, right? Didn't they draft a QB? Oh
Yes,
God,
we drafted. Can you see the screen?
it's sort of. You could probably see a little bit better. It's a little small for me, but
Oh, really? I thought I had
yeah,
it. All right. Well, we drafted Tanner McKee.
that's yeah.
Yeah, Tanner McKee, we actually used a draft pick on this year. Ian Book, we have in there. He's been our de facto third string. Between these guys, I think, being that we invested some capital in him this year, I've been hearing good things, and he has a big arm. I think we're going to get Tanner McKee in that third spot.
Well, listen, I'm gonna. The only thing I'm gonna say is this: I love Jalen Hurts the way he plays. He's been improving. It's not as reckless as he once was, but we need a decent backup. I don't think Mariota's terrible. He could probably win you a game here or there, but I doubt that Jalen's going to stay healthy all 16 games. I don't, or 17 games, excuse me now. So I
Yeah.
don't see that happening. But I do
Well, that's
think
why.
that
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
I
I
agree.
do think that he'll be there through most of the games that'll make the difference in the season.
And that's why we got Mariota, because he can run the offense pretty similar to the way Jalen Hurts will run it. You're not going to ask him to get 4 touchdowns. He's going to get the third down with his legs. He's going to move out of the pocket, but he can also make those, intermediate and dump down throws. And so if Jalen does get hurt or need to sit for a game or two this year to get an injury healed, I think Mariota will step in there with our defense and offense the way it is, and can probably keep the team 80% of what they were.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think a lot of the other quarterbacks and backup quarterbacks in our division are par and subpar at best.
Yeah,
So I think that, I mean, for God's sakes, the Commanders have a rookie this year, Sam
yeah,
Howell, right? Isn't he? He's a rookie.
yeah. If you look at the quarterbacks I don't have the list in front of me, but if you read the quarterbacks in the fuck, a pen just exploded on my hand.
Oh no!
Oh, damn it! That's all right. I'll
You
just
made Inky.
you call me Inky.
You made Inky.
I did make Inky. Oh God, I lost my train of thought there. Yeah, you
No,
know
we're
what? Yeah,
talking about the other quarterbacks. Yeah.
yeah. If actually, you know what? If you look at a list of the quarterbacks in the NFC, I mean, our backup is better than half of them. I mean, it's so the
Yeah,
Eagles have
absolutely.
always.
Foods, where did what's his face go? Heineke, did he go to Atlanta? Is he with the Falcons now?
I'm not quite sure where he
I
went,
think
but that does kind of
and
come
he's
from.
they still in our conference. So I mean, it's just so funny. They just reshuffle the quarterback sometimes.
Yeah, the Eagles have always invested in their backup quarterbacks, so they've always paid that
That's
five
for
six
sure.
million a year for them. So, can you see it better now? I just enlarged it.
The touch, a
All right,
touch. Yeah, AJ Brown. Yeah, I can see it okay. I mean,
all right.
you can
So,
read most of those.
all
Go
right.
ahead.
So So quarterbacks. I think that's going to be the way it shakes out. Running backs. That's going to be the fun race in the spring and the preseason games because I think you're going to see all five of them.
Yeah, it's a
DeAndre
question
Swift.
mark.
Yeah, DeAndre Swift, Rashad Penny, Kenny Gainwell, Boston Scott, and Trey Sermon, and I guess Kennedy Brooks too, but he's not going to make the team. Who do you think are your five? Or I'm sorry, your four. They're going to keep four most likely. Who do you think's
Four,
got a
yeah.
man out between Trey Sermon, Boston Scott, or Kenny Gainwell?
I think that if you're gonna, especially with the focus on special teams this year, you're gonna have to keep Gainwell and Scott.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, they're
Especially
good.
Scott. He's so versatile for short yardage, but then you could use him for a punt return. You could use him for
Hmm.
it's great the way that and then unlike last year, dude, they have to do some things for special teams. Aaron Sipos hit like a boomer, a 60-plus punt. Like, I want him to do well. I want the special teams to do well, and I think they need those types of running backs for
Yeah,
that, for just as a Swiss Army knife. But as far as offense goes, I mean, with Penny, with Gainwell, I think all those guys will be able to work well with Jalen with draws and sneaks, getting out in the flat and going maybe for a screen. Those things will work out well, and I think I have faith in Sirianni, and I think that they'll be able to work these specific strengths of these running backs. I mean, without
yeah.
Sanders, I love Miles is great, but we got to
He
move
got
on.
hurt today. He came up hurt today. Miles Sanders actually.
Did he really? I didn't see that. See, I was doing stuff earlier. What
Yeah,
happened?
I think it might have been a groin or something like that. But they can they're those nagging injuries that can last you like, a whole year pulling the groin.
Yeah, right. Well, Bradbury actually just had a groin issue too. So you're right. You got to be careful of these soft tissue injuries. But other than that, I think that they can solve a nice combination of whom to use in specific packages, goal line packages, short yardage packages, stretch out plays. Uh, maybe use I formation. I think that they have a really good, versatile group of running backs
Yeah,
this year.
I do too. Obviously, and they all do different things. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that that's going to be big to stay healthy. If they can stay healthy, they're going to have a, very underrated and surprising running back core especially with the offense that we have right now. So I think that they're going to be the four. Wide receiver, we got obviously the competition has been for the slot receiver spot. Obviously, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith are all pro all players. But who do you think? I've been hearing
Leon
that
Kane,
Quez
baby.
Watkins has been having a good preseason, and he's pretty much locked up that slot spot after inconsistent play last year.
Yeah, I'd like to see Deion Kane make a move. Unfortunately, he
Yeah,
kind of got hurt his ankle. I think he's missed this week so far. But
yeah,
I really think that also Devontae, I think he had just personal reasons he had missed a couple practices.
yeah,
So yeah, a lot of you know I think that the anchor of the offensive line being good enough to help move and space the running backs is going to create a lot of freedom for the type of slants and sideline throws that Hurts likes to hit AJ Brown with, and
oh
and
yeah,
and yeah, he loves those. So I think that along with the tight ends, hopefully Christian Ellis. I'm not sorry, not Christian Ellis. Who's that? Stinking not guy, the other guy. It's escaping me at the moment. Dallas Goddard's Calcaterra, Grant
Calcaterra.
Calcaterra.
Yeah, yeah. We're
Yeah.
going to get to them in a second. So
Okay,
we
yeah.
got
I think that whole offense, like when it comes to the potency of the offense combined with Hurts, it's going to be one of the highest generating point offenses this season ever. I think.
absolutely. Now we're probably only going to keep five receivers. So out of these eight, who do you see? Actually, there's more than 8. There's like 12. But we
Yeah.
got A.J. Brown and Devontae Quez are locks to make the team. Behind them, Joseph Nata's had a good preseason. Greg Ward's been here a million times. Olamide Zacchaeus, I've been hearing he's been really good this preseason. We'll see how these guys play because I think that fourth and fifth maybe 4 spots, up for grabs because I see them keeping Britton Covey because of his special teams play, like you said, and kick returns. He really was great towards the end of the year, or at least really good. Devin Allen, I think he's going to end up on the practice squad again. He came in injured, missed the first 3-4 practices, and you can't do that if you're hoping to be the last man on the roster. Tyree Cleveland, Deion Kane, who we talked about. Can he somehow make a push if he has a big preseason to get a spot?
Yeah, I heard Allen might have had a calf injury, so I'm hoping that he can come out of that. When you mentioned Zacchaeus, he's actually stepped up a lot since Devontae's been out, so he's got a good inside track. I heard.
I think he's going. I think he's
Ward.
going to be the one. I think Ward's going to. We know what Ward can do, and he contributes on special teams too. But I think I see him being a long shot to make the team. Unfortunately.
Yeah, these are all good problems to have, Foods. They really
They
are.
are good. They're great problems because depth's been an issue with the wide receiver core. Past Devontae and Quez maybe, who was garbage last year. Who the hell do we got? Britton Covey, I think, is going to take a step forward this year, and I think we're going to see him in the preseason actually catching some balls. I think that's going to be the team. I think Johnny King, Jaden Hazelwood. I think Deion Kane's going to be on the way, going to be an odd man out unless he has a big preseason, which I'm rooting for because I like Deion Kane.
I do too. He's right about your size, like 6'2", 6'3". Like he's got good hands. He's not, he's been around a little bit, so he's worked the system. He knows, where to go, how to play. I think he'll be good for Jalen, and I think that if he could get onto the squad, he'll be useful in a lot of different plays, and I think that the offense could benefit from his skills. I really do.
Yeah. Absolutely. So let's move on to tight end. Obviously, Dallas Goedert, Pro Bowl caliber player. Jack Stoll, Grant Calcaterra. I mean, I'm not excited about either of those. I'm not excited about either of those guys, Stoll or Calcaterra.
It doesn't really lift up your skirt, but I'll tell you what,
but they fill a role for sure.
I'm looking more for blocking. Yeah, exactly. Blocking, downfield blocking. Yeah, exactly right.
You're right. That they're more that traditional, tight end as to where Dallas Goedert's, the Mercedes, the Ferrari getting out there, catching everything his way. But Grant had a couple catches last year. So, as long as you're not hearing their name called for holding penalties and stuff like that, I'm okay with not hearing their names too much in a backup role. I like Tyree Jackson if he can just stay healthy. He's going out the last 2 years injured after having, promising camps. And I like to see him maybe have a huge preseason and maybe take that third tight end spot.
That'd be great. It'd be fun to have the 12 personnel, the big dogs, 2 tight ends out there. That's one of my favorite. I wouldn't even mind seeing some tackle eligible this year. Like maybe a Lane Johnson touchdown, like whatever it was, like 2 years ago.
Oh yeah, put Jordan Mailata back there. He's used to those rugby scrums, so he could get you that yard.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I think he would be. I think they would be. I think Sirianni would serve him well to keep an open mind about these sorts of things, especially since our offensive line is still pretty damn good. I mean, you got Kelsey. He'll run circles around.
Still in the league. It's still the best offensive line in the league. It absolutely.
They run circles around Cowboys' offensive line, and it had Drez or whatever the one center is now for Dak. I mean, it's a joke. What's good? They're going to have to pay so many people this year.
I love it. I love it, Foods. I love to see Dookie Dak and the Cowgirls just flounder. I love it. I'll tell you what. I almost get as much enjoyment watching Cowboy games just to root against them and watch them implode as I do watching Eagles games. My hate for them is so intense that I just love watching them fail, even just play by play. I just love it.
Yeah, now this isn't, obviously this is the Cowboys channel, so we don't want to talk about it too much, but you're absolutely right. It's great to see
It's great to see.
they say respect your enemy and be proud of the success. I'm not respecting,
No,
not proud. And
no.
I will say that, at this time, I think we have more of I would say maybe as much of a competition against the Giants as the Cowboys. I'm not going to overlook the Commanders. I'm not overlooking anybody, but I will say this. I think that when it comes to, where our offense, and especially we'll talk about our defense in a second, I think the combination of those things makes us one of the best in the NFC as per last year.
God, it's so exciting to be an Eagles fan right now because we've obviously been through some lean, times over our years, and to see, just look over this roster and just see how much talent we have is just it's guys. It is the best time to be an Eagles fan right now, and just let's enjoy it.
Yeah, and I mean we have different coordinators coming in this time, so I understand there's going to be a little bit of friction. You got to have a little bit, of give and take. So I get all that, but I mean Sean Desai looks good. I think that we'll talk. You want to talk about the defense, right? I guess that's
Yeah,
next
yeah,
on the
yeah, yeah.
roster. I mean, the defense was looking great from the start of training camp. So,
Yeah,
go ahead, expound, Foods.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll briefly go over the offensive line.
Okay,
Jordan
yeah, good.
Mailata's back.
Finish it up. Yeah, finish it up.
Yeah, Jordan Mailata's back. Obviously, got the starting position locked. I look for him to be an All-Pro this year. Landon Dickerson, same thing. Jason Kelsey came back, which is just huge. I mean, they're three of the best offensive linemen in the league, and then you throw in Lane Johnson, coming back. I mean, that's just a train on the offensive line. Now, Cam Jurgens has slid in the spot finally for Isaac Seumalo after we lost him to Pittsburgh. Cam's been, in the backup role the last couple of years after drafting him, I think, in maybe the second or third round. He's eventually going to take over the center position, but when Kelsey retires. But he's a hell of a versatile offensive lineman, and he's been locking down the right guard position in preseason. He's taking the lead on that, and he's going to be our starting right guard this year. And I look for him to just imagine just a young player like him just getting to learn from those four guys in front of him and off on the offensive line with him. It's just he's going to just fit right in the system great, and I look for him to have a huge year. We drafted Tyler Steen. That's going to be an under the radar pick that I think a couple of years from now we're going to be like, wow, that was such a great value pick in like the third, fourth round. And he's been playing really good and routinely getting on the second team for reps and getting a few first team reps. But he'll be our backup right guard, and I hear, and he's going to learn a few different positions. Jack Driscoll is back.
Yeah, I was just about to mention him. Yeah, Driscoll's back.
Yeah,
he was not looking too good. I heard that he was having some issues getting pushed back into quarterbacks this last few days. So let's see if he can fix that and iron that out. But yeah, you're right. This is a great offensive line. It's a bust.
And the depth, and we have depth. We brought Dennis Kelly back. He has been reunited with the Eagles after drafting him, losing him, and now full circle getting him back again. And he's got 10, 11 years under his belt. So, he's got that experience that he can teach Jordan Mailata at the left tackle position even more than he already knows, being such a new player to the sport. So I look for him to be a great signing and great backup and role model, and for Jordan Mailata to continue his growth.
That's very true. I didn't Toth, Toth, right? Isn't he playing too, or he didn't get? He's still with us, right? Brandon Toth.
Yes.
Toth?
Yes. We have Brett Toth. He's currently, it looks like he's on. He I don't think he's going to make the team. I
don't think so neither.
I think Sui Opeta's might make it over him, but you never know if he has a good preseason. All this is just, this is all up for debate, guys. We're not going to be right. This list isn't going to be right. There might be a change or two. Somebody has a big preseason, and all of a sudden they move up the depth chart
Yeah.
Also, I wanted to go. Also, was saying that it's good to see Josh Sills back. He's gone through a lot, and he had some really big, serious charges against him. It was good to see his name get cleared.
Excellent. Yeah, this is gonna. It's nice to see that they were gonna have a lot of, I want to say, not extracurricular drama. This year. Same for the defense with Carter. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna be. It's glad. I'm glad that things have kind of like settled down to where we're getting down to business here. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, absolutely. We now let's move over to defense. Obviously we lost a lot last season at free agency. We
Including a
lost,
coordinator.
yeah, our linebackers. So we definitely had to retool a little bit. But Foods, we stole the draft with Nolan Smith and Jalen Carter, and
Oh my God.
my God, I'm hearing great things about them already, and I can't wait to see them get some reps in preseason and just wrecking shit against second team players.
Yeah, it's going to be great to see them. It's going to be great to see the new guys. It's going to be other new guys, Christian Ellis, some other players. Sweat's killing it down there. Like you said, Nolan Smith's looking great. I,
Yeah,
I'm so excited about the defense. The defense is going to be the shining jewel. It really is.
it really is. Look at this defensive line. We got Brandon Graham at defensive end. They got Jalen Carter, it looks like, in the starting spot, but I don't think out the gate he's going to start the season or be our star. I think Milton Williams is probably going to get some reps over him just until he learns the pro speed and all. But I think he's going to take over as a starter pretty early. Jordan Davis is going to be moving into a starting position this season. Fletcher Cox still there. Josh Sweat. We forget how great Josh Sweat is, man. With all these names, we really truly forget how Josh Sweat is a great player, and he's going to have, I think, an under the radar great season.
Dude, he looks great. I heard he's been jacking people up and pushing people around. I want to see a lot, dude. That's the price of aggression. I don't want to see a lot of flags, but I can't wait to see
Just
you
lighting
know,
people up, just lighting
yeah,
Dookie back
just
up,
huge hits, dude. Just pushing the lineman right
just
back into
beating
the
them up.
quarterback. Yeah,
I
it's going to be excellent.
I just can't wait to see the first big sacker hit on Dookie Dak this year. And that's what we'll be referring to him as the whole season, Dookie
Yeah,
Dak,
well,
because
dude,
that's
they're
what
not
he
going
is.
to play them for a while, though. They got the Commanders the first couple
Well,
of times. I
we
think the
know,
opening is against the Patriots, right?
yes, the opening game is against the Patriots.
So, I mean, but we do have some great other games. I think the Monday before Thanksgiving is the one against the Chiefs. I think the Christmas game we have this year too. So we got a lot of cool games this year.
Yeah, it's definitely a ton of games. I'm gonna switch it over to the schedule real quick and take a look at it. I love that we have a Christmas game this year.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. We don't play the Giants until the end of the year, so
Yeah,
that's a little weird. Um, we have a couple of, I think we got to play. So that's the AFC East. They're the Patriots. So we got to play the Dolphins. We got to play the
here we
Bills.
go. If you can see my screen right now,
Yeah,
all
totally.
right. So we got week one against at the Patriots, week two Minnesota.
Wait, go back to week one real fast foods. Okay, so that's what time does that start?
That is a 4:25 game.
Okay, so all right, so we're 2-0 for home openers. So do we go 3-0? I hope. I really, dude. I
Well,
think we start this one off
one
right.
this one's in Foxborough. This
I,
one's
you
in
know, I
Fox.
still think we can take them, man.
I think we could take. I was just watching them tonight play. They were getting beat up. Yeah, they're not gonna lose to Belichick. Week two, Minnesota at home. I look for us to take care of them. Absolutely. Week three in Dallas, not in Dallas, in Tampa.
Tampa, yeah.
It's still hot. You never know. I think we travel well. Then we got the Commanders, the Rams, Aaron Rodgers, and the Jets.
Yeah.
You were talking about with the Phillies banking as many wins as you can. I feel like that's exactly what the Eagles need to do. The Eagles need to bank wins the first half of the season. They need to go 7-1 or at least 6-2 in those first 8 games, because then you have the Cowboys, the Chiefs, the Bills, the 49ers, Cowboys again, and Seahawks and the Giants. So I mean that's a murderer's row of schedule right there of playoff teams.
Yeah, it's not easy, but I tell you what, a lot of these dates are funny because a lot of these games. You know how many Monday night games we got
Oh,
this year? I think we got like 3 or 4. It's crazy.
week 2 is Monday night. All right, so week 2 is Monday night. Week 7 is Sunday night. Week 9 is going to be a 4:25 game of the week. Then you got KC is a Monday night.
That's a Monday, yeah.
You got the Cowboys, another Sunday night game. Yeah, so there's a lot of
It's Christmas a Monday. I think Christmas is a Monday.
The Christmas game against the Giants is Monday at 4:30. Yeah.
So we got Monday. We got like 3 Mondays. We got like 3 Thursdays. We got a bunch of like Sunday nights. We got some crazy like the pressure. I think is going to be on the other teams because they're going to have to play us during primetime games.
Yeah.
And I think that everybody's going to want a piece of us. We got the target foods.
And here's something to keep in mind too. The Eagles. I don't think I've ever seen this. We have 2 games in the first 4 days. We have the Sunday game and the Thursday game.
Correct.
So I mean that's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That's 2 games separated by 4 days.
I like to get it over first in the beginning of the year when we still have all the energy.
Yeah. Then you get a little mini bye. That way, if anybody gets any dinged up in the first, couple games, you get like 10, 11 days off in between. And then the next game is a Monday night game. So you go from Thursday, and normally you would go to the following Sunday. You go even 1 extra day to Monday.
Yeah, they made this crazy. And it's funny because when the Phils get into the playoffs, they're gonna have to make sure that a lot of these games, those games mesh up with these games. It's gonna be great. Could you imagine if like a Monday night they had which Monday night's at home? Is it it's tough to see. Oh, that's in Tampa Bay. No, never mind.
Yeah, that Monday game's in Tampa Bay. Let me see the next The KC is also in KC Monday night. So the 2 Monday night
but they'll be done. Phils will be done by then. Yeah.
Yeah, the 2 Monday games are both on the road, which is kind of beat. I would love to have seen a Monday night game, but I will tell you this. I'm not going to tell you guys how I know this, but or how I gained this experience. But I have never gotten a DUI, so it's not from personal. But I have learned that the number 1 night of the year where a DUI is given is on the Monday night game for your home team when they're playing in your hometown. That's a number 1 night of the year where people get DUIs.
You mean for like the week of Thanksgiving?
No. So let's say on Christmas Eve or any night, November 28th.
Okay.
We have a home Monday night football game. That is the highest percentage of people that get DUIs. That's the night you're most likely to get a DUI when your home team plays a Monday night game.
And this is like all over the country, or?
Yeah, so obviously it's not applicable to everybody, but every single city that plays a Monday night game at home, that is the number 1 night of the year where they give out the most DUIs, and you're the most likely to get a DUI. So we don't have any this year, so we'll keep our Eagles fans safe. Where I was going with that.
Wow, that's wacky. This whole thing is wacky, man. You got the whole crazy, with this schedule here.
It is.
Man.
It definitely is. And we're just rambling at this point. But for anybody who is still tuned in, I'm going to take it off of the screen here. I will let you know that the ink is spreading. The more that I'm doing this podcast, it is getting more and more everywhere, and it is now.
The blob has got you, food. Sorry, we should probably wrap her up anyway. It's almost. I'll tell you what, you don't get this anywhere else. You want to like, comment, and subscribe, fam.
Absolutely, guys. We're just playing around a little tonight, but we're having fun here. And one thing I want to cover before we get out of here, Foods, is
Hit me.
the signing this week of Miles Jack and Zach Cunningham. For depth and linebacker, because that's really where we've been the weakest, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I tell you that it's funny. We got Christian Ellis. He's doing well. He's going to be rotating well with the 5-man doing the nickel packages. Jack Cunningham and I think you mentioned already Miles Jack. They're rotating well. I think Miles is rotating with the first team and Zach's with the second team. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing. And that's what we go back to saying. We get all these eyes and ears at training camp now to find out that, Miles is getting first team reps already. So, there's a lot of question marks. Nakobe Dean's looked good in limited action, but, he really didn't play much last year. And we're really banking a lot on this linebacking core. And right now, that's the part of our defense, I think, that has the most question marks. Would you agree?
After defense, correct. Yeah, I think knowing, obviously injuries aside with Bradbury and the secondary and all that, yeah, your linebacking core, especially, I don't want to say it's got to be super duper awesome in this division. We got Pollard playing against Pollard and all them on Dallas, but we need to fill those gaps. Foods. I want a gap blocking. I want to see hands up, in throwing lanes and passing lanes. I want to see so much hustle from my linebackers. If they got to cover a tight end, they got to cover a running back in the flats. I understand. I just want positioning. I want good positioning.
Yeah, absolutely, Foods. I'm curious to see how that's going to hold up. I think we're going to score a lot of points. So, maybe some of those. So maybe by the middle of the season, when we get to the meat of the schedule, they'll have a half a year experience to really, be working together and to at least be serviceable, which is definitely what we're looking at. We got cornerback, obviously, Darius Slay is going to be starting, and he's looking good. And James Bradbury, of course, is back. Avonte Maddox has had a good camp so far, so it's looking like he's going to be our third cornerback there. And, we got some new faces and some, new players at the safety position. Reed Blankenship, he's still an unknown. He played well last year when he was called upon, but, can he do it for a full year?
I think they signed. Didn't they get him a deal? I think they just got a deal with him.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, Sidney Brown reminds me a lot of young Brian Dawkins. He's a big hitter, and he's got a good IQ. He's already on the second team and getting all second-team reps, and I see him really moving up and pushing Kayvon for that safety position sooner rather than later.
Like I said, these are great problems to have, Food. So, yeah, stay tuned. 4th and 26, fam. It's only going to get better from here on.
Absolutely, man. Well, it was good to do this again with you. We will certainly be doing these at least weekly, and then once the season starts, we can, start doing, the post games like we talked about, and we're definitely got a lot of action coming up. This is the time of the year when we come alive, man. We're back, and we're looking for some feedback from our fans here, and what you kind of stuff you'd like to maybe see us cover, and we'll be back with another video shortly. Beef, it was great as always, and talk to you again soon, buddy.
You got it, buddy. Welcome back. Guys, have a great weekend. Enjoy the first game.
All right, make sure you hit that like and subscribe. Peace.